Christmas came early for Tim Cook and Apple.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
So, as everybody is kind of finding out right now, Apple was hit with a cease and desist, basically, from the International Trade Commission, where they were no longer able to import or export Apple Watches.
I did hear a little bit about this, and I did hear it was also because of a different company.
Yes. So we'll go into this different company, but the news that's coming out right now is that Apple has effectively reversed the decision by appealing it in U.S. court.
Oh, okay.
And in this appeal, they asked that they were still going to be able to sell Apple Watches because if they stopped selling Apple Watches while this appeal was going through the court system, they'll have this insane amount of loss because they can't be selling it, and they don't know how long the litigation's gonna take.
Yeah.
So, at first, there was a order that would stop them from selling these watches. I think, in December, but now they're going to be able to restart selling them again. In January.
Okay.
So I think they had until Christmas for the White House to repeal the decision, but that didn't happen. But the appeal came through the court system.
Okay. So I want to give like maybe my thoughts on all this because from like a supply chain and selling perspective of all of this,
Yeah.
is that I think that Apple's smartest decision that they could do is to be able to sell these and sell these down in a term where your inventory will get low enough where if anything happens and you cannot be selling these Apple Watches anymore, you already have a lower inventory, so you don't have as much liability.
Yeah.
And if you end up not being able to sell these. And the thing is that having a product and knowing Apple and having they're always putting out newer products, so if they have to pivot a future product to not have some certain things that other companies may have, they could change that while they're in production. But for those things that they already have, I think that's a completely different story. And I do think that you're right. Christmas did come early if they're able to sell these throughout January and beyond because of the amount of loss that they would get. But yes, that is from my perspective on where I think that the business did well is being able to mitigate the loss and the liability that they're going to be having.
Oh, while they potentially alter the product.
Yes, while they potentially alter the product. But I feel like also a lot of companies do that. They're like, oh, you're able to sell down these things in case something, like if something does happen. But yes, I think that is good that they're able to do that. Potentially getting things on a sale too, maybe in the future. I don't know.
We'll see about that one because to give some more context to this whole thing, they're in trouble because the company Masimo, a biotech firm, has a patent on light-based blood oxygen sensors. And the crazy thing is that Apple originally went to them and asked if they could work together.
Okay.
Yeah. But they obviously didn't work together, but Apple ended up going and just hiring all their a lot of their employees, including some of the like lead designers and stuff, to go make their product and install it into their device.
Yeah, so the thing is too, I watched the Bloomberg interview with Massimo's CEO, I believe.
Yeah.
And him talking about all of this as well. It's like, well, what's the difference between, hiring all these employees and like
A hostile takeover?
Yeah, hostile takeover. because Apple's like one of the only companies that's able to do that because of the amount of capital they have and
Yeah.
the amount of capital they have. But at the same time, during the interview, he was also like showcasing new products, which I think is very smart because there's a lot of
Yeah.
eyes on this. He was showcasing it's like, hey, like we also have like this new watch that's coming out. It does the same or even more. I believe like for Apple's, they use like two metrics while Masimo's one is using like six. There's a bunch of things that they're saying that they have an edge over in the terms of like the health space technology in
Yeah.
their watch compared to Apple's watch. So he was being a good salesman at the same time as giving an
Good
interview.
CEO.
Yes, so he was doing a good job there. I did read some of the comments as well, and they said it's like people are saying it's like, oh, I'm a doctor. It's like we've known about like Masimo for years, and it's like we trust them and Philips. I don't. Yeah, so it's like a lot of people know them. A lot of people know that they've been in the space. And the thing is, when Apple came out with their with these watches that are doing this,
Yeah.
it's like people knew. It's like, hey, it's like this other company has done this before. It's like now you guys are doing it. And it's very, very a little bit like them hiring all these employees is a little weird in a sense.
Yeah. And if you like this type of content, come up with stuff like this daily. And we have a library of over 200 and almost 300 videos. So most likely you'll find something that you'll find entertaining. So if you want to come along with us on this journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button.
Mhm.
So I think that Masimo's product, truthfully, is marketed towards like the more like medical professional, while Apple product is more of a casual person. Like nobody truthfully needs that level of precision
Oh yeah.
in their, like they just need to know like, oh, like what's my heart rate, like how am I doing. I don't know if like the Apple Watch truly needs this feature. Like I think it has like enough things already, like if it can like tell your heart rate, the heart rate monitor, and if it can kind of tell your like sleep cycles or something like that. I think those things are, like the more marketable things to the average person. Like the average person, I don't think exactly is too concerned about their blood oxygen levels. I think that's just like kind of a gimmick that like, like to set it apart, like make it like a more premium experience for their Apple Watches, because they already charge a lot of money, and
They
these new features, even though there might not be like the most useful features, would be, I think, like seen as like a plus versus like, oh, Apple Watch does exactly the same thing as all the other watches.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I think like the average person doesn't need like the medical precision that these Masimo watches are going to be giving. I think Apple itself gears more towards lifestyle. Like, and the thing is, it is like a nice to have, but it's completely not needed. At least for me, it's like all I would, if like I don't use Apple Watches. I had one before. The only thing I did use it for is to check messages on the time. And the thing is, like, I just look at my phone for all of that.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
So, I mean, I do think that the wearable market is still kind of there, but I do think that this was like Apple's way of trying to differentiate itself from the others by providing this other metric that might be able to evolve in the future. But I'm curious what you guys would think down below. Do you think that Apple should be able to continue to sell this, even though they basically have the exact same technology and has already been like ruled too close to Masimo's like patent? Or, but I mean, I do see where Apple's coming from. It's like if they do have to stop while this like legal stuff is happening in the US, that's like millions and millions of sales, and also an image thing.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I do wonder if they're gonna go and like just remove that feature somehow. Just like remove the sensor or something.
I don't think people need it, but I mean, like, well, it depends. Yeah.
But yeah, let us know down in the comment section below.